Is your AI agent constantly making up fake AWS commands? Here's the free fix, and it comes straight from AWS. You know the feeling. You ask your AI coding agent for a simple AWS command. For example, create an S3 bucket with the right policy. It looks plausible. You paste it into your terminal, hit enter, and bam, invalid choice, unknown parameter. You just lost 5 minutes debugging a command the AI agent just made up, and every retry burns more tokens, aka money, and more patience, aka emotional stability. So why does it happen? Well, here's why it happens. The model behind your agent trained on a snapshot of the internet from months ago, and AWS is constantly shipping new updates, new services, new best practices, new workflow sequence of ways to do things. So things are constantly changing, and the agent reaches for something that moved, gets rejected, and guesses again, and you have to fix it yourself. The agent's not dumb, it's just working from an old map. So what's the fix? The fix I reach for now is the Agent Toolkit for AWS. It's free, set up by AWS engineers for the best practices, so it comes straight from AWS. And instead of making your agent guess, it gives it the real thing. A live connection to AWS MCP Server, which is going to allow it to get real-time latest updates on the best practices and workflows and documentation. So you can think of the MCP Server as a one doorway to over 300 AWS services. When your agent needs to know how a command works, it reads current AWS documentation through that doorway. No credentials are required for it to read the documentation, but when it's time to actually build, it runs as you through your own identity and access management, and it can even run Python in a sandbox for multi-step jobs. So it checks the official source before it writes a single command. So let's talk about the skills. On top of that are agent skills, which are small tested playbooks for real tasks that lets the agent know exactly how to work with certain services. For example, lock down an S3 bucket, stand up a Lambda behind API gateway, deploy with CDK, etc. There are around 64 of these skills currently, and the agent loads only the ones your task needs, so they don't clog up your context window. This is the open book test, and the book is AWS's own docs and the AWS engineers' best practices and guidance for how to work with these services. Not just some blog post or something that the model has to try to remember from its training data. Setup is genuinely quick. With the recent AWS CLI as of June 30th, 2026, it's one command: AWS configure agent toolkit. It detects your editor such as Kiro, Cursor, Claude Code, or Codex, and writes it up. In Kiro, you can also drop the MCP server into your config file and run one npx command to add the skills. So that's another way to do it. Multiple ways to do this. Now the agent is not guessing anymore. It's building from the official blueprint, official guidance, and official best practices that currently work with the current latest services and features today. No more copy paste, no more error loops on repeat, no more frustration. Probably still might be frustration, but not related to this at least. And you can stop your agent from guessing and stop praying for retries. So I've provided the full setup and a few real workflows in the link below so that you can follow along. Try it out. Let me know how it works. Peace.